All of our development lab programs have came back from the off season, and right away you'll notice Jason DeCaro. We tried to improve his pitch arsenal, and that was concluded successful, which is nice. His potential changeup stuff improves by 5, and his current changeup stuff improves by 5. That is now how this looks, so it's coming along a lot better. It was clearly and obviously his weakest pitch. So if we can add that fourth pitch and that becomes at least average, that would be nice. Nick Martin up next. He was successful in adding a pitch to his arsenal. He learned a curveball, but funny enough, we're going to kind of wish he didn't learn that pitch because we don't really want him throwing that. It's only got a 30 potential right now. Maybe, who knows what kind of magic will happen with that. Maybe it'll eventually become serviceable, but I would like to hope he doesn't throw it too much anytime soon. The rest of the programs, of course, sadly, they did have no improvement. We had sent Barnett, Moreno, Mills, Reyes, and Alfonso and Titsworth in there to try and improve on some things, but no improvement on any of them, which is expected. It's hard to get all success in the dev lab, but the two that were successful, of course, were on our two top prospects, so I guess that's kind of good, aside from the pitch that he learned being kind of crappy. We did sign relief pitcher Jason Foley toward the end of free agency. He just signed on April 1st. It is now April 2nd. So we're kind of happy with that. I mean, he's not insane or anything. He'll hopefully keep the ball in the park. He is a ground ball pitcher, and we have notoriously struggled with keeping the ball in the park with a lot of our pitchers, mainly starters, not so much relievers. But regardless, he'll help with keeping the ball in the park. He has a solid resume as of late. He threw 31 innings last year with Boston, where he had a 111 ERA plus and 84 PIP minus. And I had a little bit of reps in AAA last year where he killed it. But all of his previous years in the majors as well have all been above average. So hopefully you can continue that here. It is just a 1-year deal for 1.8 million. We also had a successful waiver claim for Nick Enright. We claimed him from the Dodgers. We need to get a new report on him just so it'll be a little more accurate. It does have high scouting accuracy, and it is from January, so it could change a little bit. But this is how he looks, roughly average looking reliever. I guess the Dodgers just were trying to make some space for someone else, and we'll benefit from that. He had only pitched in AAA previous years. Last year, the Dodgers did give him his first chance, and he was around average ERA plus, barely below. But I mean, with these bars and stuff, we're happy to bring him on board. Definitely better versus righties, but that's all right. For a team like us, he'll be serviceable for sure. Opening day is just 1 day away, and this is going to be our 2028 opening day roster. A lot of familiar faces, not too many changes as far as the hitting side of things go. As you guys remember, we're going into the season with tons of extra money, sadly, and that's with player development budget maxed out at 40.5, and scouting budget is at 20 of 27, so still high. I maybe could have maxed it out just for the hell of it because we have so much extra money, but it is what it is now. But regardless, yeah, the free agency class was obviously pretty poor, and that really sucked because our owner has given us a fighting chance with all this money, and we're just not even able to buy our way into success, which I'm not entirely in the business of doing, but I mean, if there's upgrades to be had and a player wants to come play for us, I'm going to try. But our most notable signing, of course, was Lars Nootbaar, and we did sign Nolan Arenado, who is beyond his prime years, offensively anyway, but I mean, he can't be no better than what we currently had at third as far as the bat goes. And he is a captain and he's a leader and has all the other good personality stuff. So that's the main reason we signed him. And his defense is still there. So there's that. But in right field, we're going to have Jake Mangum. He'll be starting in right. Center field is going to be Jacob Young again because of that defense. He was a great defender there last year. Left field is going to be the newest member, Lars Nootbaar. He'll be starting in left. Hopefully, we can benefit from his bat this year. At shortstop, Nasim Nunez, he was returning at short. Again, great defender for us. Nolan Arenado gets to start at third over Yohandy Morales this season, who has a similar bat to him. But Arenado, we're going to take the veteran approach and just hope he can be the leader we need. So he's going to get the start over Morales, who wasn't the best last year at all. Second base, Nico Horner again. He's in the last year of that 2 years $32 million contract. Just kind of riding that one out, to be honest. I mean, maybe he moves around the deadline, but I don't know if anybody really want him because he did not help himself by taking his value this past year. We'll see if he can get back to his former years. Juan Brito is going to be starting at first base. This is how he looks. He had a good year last year with the bat. Well, I say good, but average, right? That's been good for offense. Average has been Blaine Crim actually makes the open day roster after preseason. He's going to be hitting DH with his bat. The hope is he can do a little bit of something for us. And then our starting catcher is going to be Omar Alfonso, who had probably the best year out of anybody on our offense last year and putting up 3 WAR and had a really good year with the bat. Backup catcher again, Henry Davis. 2 utility infielders in Yohandy Morales and Antonio Anderson makes the opening day roster. We got him in a trade with Boston in July of last year. He wasn't doing the best last year in minor leagues, aside from he kind of like sped through them, by the way, thanks to the Red Sox. Like they had him in A, high A, double A. And then he came to us, and we played him in double A. And then, yeah, we put him in double A after he came to us, where he was like back to his former glory in the A and high A. But he struggled for Boston in double A and triple A. But he made the opening day roster just due to being able to play third base mainly. It's obviously shows shortstop. He's not going to be great at it, but he can play there in a pinch just when the team needs a day off or something. But it won't be pretty. But yeah, he makes opening day roster as a second utility infield guy. And then our 4th outfielder is going to be Calvin Mitchell. You'll remember he started last year, and he actually did pretty solid average-wise, but he also had a small sample size because he spent a ton of the season in AAA. He was the guy that we called up during an injury moment, and he had filled in. Pitching, our starting 5 is going to be Reed Detmers in the 1 hole, of course. Got him in that trade with the Angels. Next is going to be Freddie Peralta, who we got in the trade with Arizona this past offseason, coming off a monster 4.3 WAR year. See how he does for us. Will Warren in the 3 slot, very, very average guy, 50s all over the place. Got him in the trade with New York. And then Brent Hedrick in the 4 hole. And Connelly Early, who we got off of waivers from Boston in November of this past year. This is how he looks. I'm pretty excited about this guy. He doesn't have any major league reps aside from the spring just now, where you'll see his ERA got as low as 3.38 in his last start. He had a 5K game over 4 innings, so hopefully he's on a little bit of a hot period where he can carry that over to start opening day. As far as relievers, we are going to throw Regalado at closer, our newest acquisition in free agency as well. Probably our biggest as far as, ability goes on paper. He's a guy who absolutely crushes, crushes might not be the proper term for pitchers, but shuts down lefties. He is on 5.5 for the next 2 years. And of course, he was the potential locker room cancer that could grow. Hopefully, though, that won't be the case. Hopefully, we got enough leaders and captains to balance him out. If not, there's, what do we got to lose? We'll send the dude on the move around the deadline. Hopefully, he doesn't hurt his own value. Hopefully, he does decent enough. And we have to, though, we'll ship him out for hopefully a solid return. I'm sure he'll definitely be of value somewhere. Jarvis Alfaro makes the opening day roster. He was a minor league free agent signing we had back in 2025, in December 2025, 3 years ago. And he has made his way up and done solid enough each year, to be honest. Last year he was at 3 different levels, ending up at AAA, where he only had 17 innings. But before that, he was in AA, where he was really, really doing his thing. But he made the opening day roster. He had a pretty solid spring as well, finished with 3.14 ERA. So we're going to give him a run in the setup spot, maybe too early, but it's not like our pen has cream of the crop talent. So as far as who gets put up as set up is kind of on a as performing basis, so to speak, who hottest man up approach with that. Our other setup guy to start opening today is Franco Elman, who came off a blistering hot year last year, where he had a 145 ERA plus. He'll be getting the nod there. Followed up by our middle relief of Jason Foley, who we just touched on, that we just signed 1 day ago. Hunter Gaddis. Nick Enright, who we got off waivers from the Dodgers. And Adrian Morjan is our next and final middle relief guy. And then for a specialist versus righties, we actually have Alexis Diaz. Ideally, we'd be able to just throw him at middle relief, but he's so strong versus righties. He could just be a middle relief guy. Obviously, he's balanced enough versus lefties, which may end up eventually happening. But he's just so good versus righties that we're going to try him as a specialist versus them and just see how it works out for him. These are the ever so dreaded preseason predictions for our team each season, as of now anyway. In the AL East side of things, you have the Orioles, Red Sox, and Rays projected to be your top 3. with the Orioles kind of being the only 90-win team projected as of now. You do see us down towards the bottom, of course, but not worse than the Tigers, according to projectors. We're projected to finish around 75 and 87. I mean, I will say each year these projections have showed an improvement in the team, which is nice, but obviously not good enough. But we're slowly creeping up to 500 projections, which is cool. But we're projected to finish in between the Guardians and the Tigers. In the AL West, the Mariners, Twins, and Astros are projected to dominate things there, with the Angels and White Sox bringing it up from the bottom. Their top hitters and top pitchers are shown here. Of course, we will have no one projected in this as of now. But yeah. On the NL East side of things, the Reds, Braves, and Mets, the top three there, with the bottom being the Marlins and the Pirates. Who would have guessed? Followed up with the NL West, the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and Brewers. Looks like that second place spot could be pretty competitive, with the Dodgers kind of running away with it, projections wise, with the Padres, Giants, and Cubs, the bottom three. And here is the top projected hitters and pitchers in the NL. Opening day is here, and we will be kicking off the season with a 2-game series away at Boston, followed up by another 2-game series, but at home versus the Blue Jays. Our game one starter, of course, is going to be Reed Detmers, and this is our lineup with Nunez at leadoff, followed by Arenado, Krim, and Nootbaar in the 4-hole, with Brito, Alfonso, Horner, Mangum, and Young toward the bottom of the lineup. We're just going to sim this one right along here, and we'll check in on the box score. And day one is an 0-16 loss. I mean, wow. Just whenever you thought, a 10-run fourth, like, are you kidding me? This is embarrassing. A 5-run second. Let's just see how things went here. I mean, trying to find the bright side of things. Nunez went 2 for 4. Arenado as well, going 2 for 4. Nootbaar strikes out twice, going 0 for 3. Nunez had a stolen base. Horner had an error. As far as pitching, Detmers, I mean, he was pulled in the... Oh, man. He was just pulled so fast. He gave up 5 earned off of 3 hits, one of those being a home run. The pin comes in. Enright does all right, or pretty solid. Then followed by Foley, who just does absolutely terrible. And then as well as Gaddis. And then it starts to slow down, and then Elman and Alfaro were able to do okay. I mean, like, just look at this. The batter's face is piled up. You can just... There's just way too much of the pen used in this one. Roman Anthony wins player of the game. The Red Sox side of things going 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs. Oh man, this is really tough. Just super embarrassing. Profar, Devers, Cassis, Abreu. I mean, every one of the team got a hit except for Myers, it looks like. So there's that. Let's see. Who is this? Oh, Jetixon Paez. It's 7 Ks, no earned runs on 4 hits. 4 Ks, 1 hit for Messick, and Giao coming in, throws 1 inning, allowing no runs as well. Yeah, that's a tough way to start opening day. But we're going to dig in deeper to our 2028 season and sim right along. As always, I will be, over the course of the season, looking to improve the team, whether that be via waiver wire, trades, free agency, voting prospects. But as always, you guys will be in the know. Only 7 games into a season, but Alfonso just had a really good game versus the Rays that I wanted to show you guys. He went 5 for 6, where he had obviously 5 hits. He scored twice, had a double, a home run, and 3 RBIs. He's obviously having a good year so far. Only 6 games, but still, he's absolutely crushing it. Well, the 2028 draft pool has dropped, and we were just giving it a quick glimpse, and of course, inviting everyone to the draft combine. We just set up a filter of potential greater than or equal to 45 and invited everyone. But some of the top players, sorting by overall, of course you have these guys, but the ones that have around 80 potential still are Trevor Civic, who looks very interesting. Could be a phenomenal defender at shortstop even. Also, you'll see Jared Mayer, who only has really 2 pitches. Josh Shepard looks interesting. Also, Jeremiah Rounds, who is a reliever. But there was a guy here that is a familiar face. You'll see Neil Toner. He was one of the finalists we wanted to draft in the first round. I think it was it this past year? Yeah, it was this past draft. And I was like, wait, was this guy not in this draft, or they just like did OOTP accidentally create a duplicate player or something? I know this is actually him. The Marlins failed to sign him, and he returned to college. So he's having another year there where he's doing nil toner things, even better, actually, even better things. So he'll be a candidate for our pick at number 5. Definitely a first baseman. I can't remember yet. He has the outfield range of 55. Can he play outfield though? I can't remember. Yeah, he could play like left. Hmm. Yeah, so he'll definitely be a candidate. Of course, where we do have that fifth overall or third overall pick. Sorry, we jumped up from 5. That's what was confusing me. Um, this is currently how the top 5 is projected to shake out. With Trevor Civic going 1, Ben Mahoney 2, Devin Manger to us at 3, Keith Young to the Astros, and then Cameron Roth to the Angels. I'm sure this will change up some, of course, as it gets closer and closer to the draft. The mock draft will change, but it has no toner going at 14 to the Rays. But I don't know. I don't know if he'd make it that far if he was around whenever we pick. We rolled along to May 13th, and unfortunately, Reed Detmers has picked up a slight injury. He has a sore shoulder. He's going to be out for 2 weeks. On the season thus far, he's pitched 43 innings. In 8 starts, he's been 5-2 with a 167 ERA plus, a 90 FIP minus, only a .96 WHIP. He's already accounted for .8 WAR, on pace for 3.5, which would be really, really nice if he could continue that, of course. But we are going to be throwing him on the IL, unfortunately, for 2 weeks. Because, of course, he can't throw with a sore shoulder. And we'll be making a correlating move of promoting someone up from AAA. We'll have to figure out who that is. Well, we did decide to go ahead and just bring Jason Foley back up from AAA, who we had demoted whenever Sean Burke came back off IL. We're going to slide Burke over to temporarily start with that 35 stamina. He did last year start for us 137 innings, and then these reps in AAA were part of the rehab assignment after coming off the IL. And then we brought him back up, and he's been doing not too great out of the pen, but he's just the only one I really trust the most to go over and be in that starting spot for at least one start until Detmers gets back. And then, of course, Detmers will slot back into number 1 in the rotation. And yeah, like I said, we brought back up Foley to go back into the pen. We are currently 16-20, 4 games off of 500 with the Rays and Yankees behind us. Yankees are struggling really, really bad. They're 13-24. The Red Sox and Orioles are currently doing their thing atop the division. Wild card race, which is something obviously not to worry about for a very long time now, but this is how it looks on the AL side of things. As far as the NL, in case you're curious, that's how things are shaking out. The Reds are absolutely destroying things in the NL East. The Diamondbacks, Giants, and Dodgers. I mean, you could even throw, heck, the whole half of the NL West are kind of banging it out over there. And this is how their wild card picture looks thus far, with the Rockies, Pirates, and Nationals, even the Braves, scraping it up from the bottom. Since we're doing check-ins, we might as well continue and just show off the rest of the players as well. Starting by FIP minus, of course, the lower the better for this stat. After Peralta, it does kind of fall off a good bit. Some of these guys don't have large sample sizes, like Diaz, who we're just using as a specialist versus righties. He's only pitched 5.2 innings because of the specialist role, and only 10 innings for Foley. But yeah, so these guys haven't been the best. But I guess on the positive side of things, Peralta, he does have a 98 FIP minus, but a very rough ERA plus. He's had 7 starts where he's went 1-4. So yeah, not too great, not too bad. Hopefully he's able to figure it out. Will Warren has been really, really solid. Counted for .6 WAR already this season in 7 starts. A 121 ERA plus with a 93 FIP minus. Hunter Gaddis up next with 105 and 92. Adrian Morjan, 23 innings pitched, 181 ERA plus, 75 FIP minus, absolutely killing it. You can't complain about that at all. He has a 6-2 shutdown ratio. Nick Enright, the waiver claim, right before the season started, a 92 ERA plus with a 69 FIP minus. Next up, 19.2 innings, Jarvis Alfaro. Also, he graduated to the green pretty numbers. He graduated to 51 overall after a recent scouting report, and this is how he looks now. And he was a minor league free agent signing not this past year, 3 years ago in December, just when we were filling out our minor league teams, and he's the guy that got some TCR love. This is like as we knew him right here when we signed him as a minor league free agent. This is what he's became. So that's pretty exciting. He's been doing well in that setup role. He has a 6-to-1 shutdown to meltdown ratio, which is nice. And speaking of, Franco hasn't been doing too hot. So I think what we might do is we might slide Morjon there. I think we're going to slide Morjon there and move Franco to middle relief and let Morjon graduate up to some more higher leverage situations. We'll put him on 6 innings plus or sixth inning or later with the secondary role of middle relief. On the offense side of things, Henry Davis, who has been coming off the bench behind Omar, been doing his thing in that role. 0.7 WAR, funny enough, off the bench. It's kind of crazy. Omar Alfonso doing Omar Alfonso things just like he did last year. 168 OPS plus with already 1.6 WAR. He's on pace for 7.3 apparently. Guy's been a freak the past 2 years. I mean, I probably definitely just jinxed it. Blaine Krim, another unfamiliar name for most of you probably as far as being in our offense regularly, but he didn't make the opening day roster. He was a guy we got in that expansion draft way back when 3 years ago. Doing his thing. 133 OPS plus. He has 6 home runs, which leads the team with his 55 power. Accounting for 0.6 WAR. Calvin Mitchell out of that fourth outfielder role, 114. Lars Nootbaar, 102. Doing kind of what we hoped he would do, at least average. Jacob Young, which is an improvement thus far off of last year, where he was only at 62 OPS plus. This is a massive improvement for him. If he continues this, that would be very nice, but I'm not expecting it. Even Nasim Nunez at 85, don't get me wrong, 90 or 85, neither of those numbers are great, but I mean, when you're talking 20 to 30 higher than last season for both of them, that's great. Yohandy Morales, that util infield role, 84 OPS plus, and then, I mean, the rest of our offense has just been it's been shit. There's no light way to put it. Horner, Mangum, Arenado, Brito, they've just not been good this far, and we really need them to turn it around. But we are 16-20. We're going to roll along through the rest of the season. Detmers has made his way back off the IL, thankfully. He's going to be thrown straight into a start since he wasn't out very long, and it was just a sore shoulder. I'm not too worried. Of course, with that last check-in, he's been really killing it. Hopefully he can continue his ways. Burke wasn't able to make the most of his starts. Sadly for him, he actually wasn't great at all. So he actually got worse. He's actually on a cold streak as well, but we're just going to throw him at long relief with the mop-up as secondary role. As well as moving Morjon up as we did. That's worked out well for him in the short period that we've seen him since then. So yeah, the corresponding move was to demote Franco Elman, who on the year thus far had a 76 ERA plus and a 131 FIP minus. Hopefully he can go down there and figure it out and maybe he can come back. Little player development update email. I've been checking these out kind of solo, but I figured you guys might be interested to see one every so often. We'll touch on some of the most notables. Hernandez, no one super notable, but he was from a draft 2 years ago we had from the 15th round. Sorry. Alfaro, we were talking about just a couple check-ins ago. He was 51 overall. Now he's 54. This guy's killing it. I mean, I'm very proud. Jack Zhang, about said Zach Zhang. That really juked my brain there. Eric Segura, finally coming back from the injury. You remember we talked about not a couple of episodes ago. Well, yeah, it was a couple episodes ago, but about said a couple seasons. Either way, it's from July of 2027, literally almost a year, and he'll have come back a year later finally. Recovery time, he only has 45 weeks left, roughly a month. He was probably our most promising prospect as far as being the closest, but a whole year of not playing really has slowed him down. We are going to request new reports on our prospects. This one's from May, so it's only a month old. We did mass request new reports on all of our favorite ones, which being like around the 50 potential or higher guys back in May. But I like to get one every month or every 2 months just because it's fun. I can't lie. It's one of my favorite parts of the game is to check out prospects. But either way, we'll be excited to have Segura back, and hopefully he can get back to his ways. Let's see. Parker Hutaira. No one of super note just yet. Pablo Adonis, he was in that trade with Washington a long time ago. I don't know. He could become serviceable, but it really is going to depend on these pitches and his stuff to make it, and of course the rest of his control. Some other notable names. We're going to click through here and see if we can find any really crazy jumps for some players or some guys we really recognize. Petrovic being one of those. Our first draft as an org in 2026, he was our 5th round pick. We had originally drafted him at 62 potential. No, forgive me. It would have been, let's see, he was drafted in the 2026 draft. Yeah, so it would have been around July of 26. So around 48 potential. And he's dropped down to 43, which he's already kind of had that perfect storm of bad personality, so to speak. But he's not been the best in Double A this year. Last year he had a solid season. I'm trying to see some other names we'd recognize off the top of our head. Tyler Kennedy, he was one of the other minor league free agent signings. He just has no control. Otherwise, could you imagine he'd probably be a pretty solid player. Will Furnace. Charles Davelin, he was in a trade with Seattle in July of 2026. He could become all right. I mean, if the eye and his, if his eye and the contact can make it, of course he has no power and he's not going to have a lot of gap power. It'd be cool if the gap power can make it. So he could do something more than hit singles maybe. But I mean, a guy who gets on base is a guy of value indeed. Kevin Guerrero, Dante Grant. There's a lot of names in this one. Luke McNeil, that's another name we'll recognize. He was the reliever that I tried to turn into a starter. We could just never get his stamina up. But he's a guy who's getting pretty close. I mean, he's getting there. He's pitched in A this year, where he's absolutely killing it. I think we can actually probably move him up to high A with 0 issues. Yeah. I assume he's upset with his. Oh no, he's upset with team record. Okay. I was going to say, I assume he might be upset with his role. Maybe he thinks he deserves a better team. Or a higher up team, I should say. But we're going to promote him to high anyway. That's currently we have Nick Martin and Jason DeCaro. So that'll be a pretty nasty staff there. Don Miller, another minor league free agent signing. Mickey Turner. Landon Marady. John Hutchcraft. A lot of these guys were just minor league free agent signings from whenever we first started. Bozeman, I thought he was a draft pick. He was not. Yeah. That's some of the notable player development updates. We will request new reports on our favorite prospects again, and next episode we'll get a better look at those guys. So far on the season, though, we are 25-28. Can you believe it? I think this might be the best we've been doing so far in June. To see this many teams below us in the standings. Can't lie, it feels good. It feels good. I'm not going to lie. I'm definitely getting ahead of myself, but we got to take the small wins. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this one. It's been an actually rather solid season, if I do say so myself, thus far. Don't get me wrong, we're still doing bad. But those of you that have been around from the start, this is improvements. This is massive improvements. Is it a fluke? Who knows? Is it way too early to get excited? Absolutely. But we're going to keep trying to do our best to get better. I will catch you guys in the next one.